Right then. Hello, Jenny, Genuine Consulting Jenny. Thank you for offering to spend some time with me this morning for your showcase interview. Um, I've got a few questions to ask you. I'm recording this and we're going to upload it to the FAB directory so everybody can look at what you do and see how wonderful you are. And then it should take about 20 minutes. So hopefully that's okay. So my first question is, how long have you been in business?
Genuine Consulting has been in business for 8 years. I always think it's about two, and then I counted back in preparation for this, and it's eight.
So what were you doing before then?
So before that, my first ever business was a long time ago, when, oh gosh, about 36 years ago. I had a handmade chocolate company when I lived in the Scottish borders. So that was my first ever business. And then in between times, as my mum would say, I had a proper job.
Yeah.
Um, I had some proper jobs in between that.
So what inspired you to start Genuine Consulting?
Uh, Misfortune. I was fired.
Right.
They
Okay.
they dressed it up a bit, but that
Yeah.
essentially was what it was. So I was working as head of learning and development in a big American company, very corporate, very, um, who I think it is safe to say didn't really care about their people. Um, and so there was a trampling of values, basically mine. And a manager who um, felt threatened by some feedback that I had given. So I came to work one morning and was invited to have a meeting with her. And HR were there, and they basically said, "Here's your brown box. See ya. You can go quietly, or you can stay, and we'll make your life hell. You choose."
Wow. So
Um,
there's so many people I talk to who've got similar stories.
and it had never happened to me before. So I remember standing on the pavement in London, in that there London town, with my cardboard box with my stuff in it, like
And
something
that
out
was
of a
it.
yeah.
No, did they give
Told
you a severance payment or anything?
they did eventually. They told my team that I'd gone on holiday. So my team all thought that was just on holiday. Really bad. Anyway, there were so many awful things about it. But anyway, um, and I remember standing on the pavement with this box. They're going, oh, I've a. There's a lot of firsts here. A, I've never been out of a job before. B, I don't know quite what I'm going to do. And secondly, I've never felt more free and relaxed in my whole life. So actually, I think this is going to be okay.
So a bit of a shock to your system and lots of mixed emotions. So how did you get from that standing on the pavement with your brown cardboard box to setting yourself up in business? What was that process?
I had a coach. You'd not be surprised to know. As I'm a huge fan of coaching. Everybody needs a coach. So I found myself a business coach, and we were looking at jobs and we were talking about what you want to do. And when you've had a shock like that, it can be quite it can be quite kind of difficult, can't it? You don't really know what you want.
Mm,
Um,
it
and
affects your
I said,
identity, everything you
yeah.
think about yourself. Absolutely.
And we started off by redoing my CV. And of course, I hadn't done a CV for years. And it was quite traditional. And they suggested that we did a functional CV, which was concentrating much more on the things you love doing and the strengths, and kind of, so it was a different way of thinking. And when I put it all together, um, they suggested, had I ever thought about being in business for myself, doing a kind of portfolio career. And I said, absolutely, I have. Oh, but it's really scary. It's really scary. And what if nobody wants to work with me? And what if it doesn't work? And what if I'm, what if it's all a dismal disaster? And they said, but what if it isn't? And so I kind of, they said, well, you choose. You could jump either way. The choice is yours. And so I remembered that feeling on the pavement of, the freedom of working for myself. And so I jumped.
Excellent. So bearing all that in mind then, over the last 8 years then, what's your favourite thing about the work that you do?
Oh, my favourite thing is the facilitating and the coaching, whether that's individual or in groups. I love being on a stage. Love being on a stage, love being in front of people, love facilitating workshops. Yeah, that's my favoritist thing ever.
So when you say facilitating workshops, what kind of workshops do you facilitate?
I facilitate sort of leadership development workshops, customer experience workshops, lots of stuff about personality traits kind of workshops. All of those, I hesitate to use the word soft skills because I hate the word soft skills. It's those core skills and behaviours that help teams and individuals absolutely show up as their best.
So you do this within big companies and organizations?
Big companies, small companies, medium-sized companies, yeah. But I also do it for small, groups of individuals so that might be that a group of people get together and say, oh, actually there's 4 or 5 of us who'd really like to learn some more about X, Y, or Z. Can you help us? Because we're people who are in business for ourselves. So one of the things about being in business by yourself is that you don't always have access to training that you would have if you're working as part of a company.
kind of things, yeah.
Yeah. So also people who want to get together and say, oh, actually there's about 5 of us, can you do something? Then I would be very happy to do that too.
Lovely. So what's your least favorite thing about your work or being self-employed?
Can I have 2?
Go on then.
One is the admin. I'm not a lover of admin, which is why I've just got myself the most fabulous VA. So admin isn't something I love, but I know other people do. And the other bit I think is that potentially it can be quite lonely, as we said, working for yourself. I also live by myself, so actually that shared opportunity to talk about when you've had a really great day, sharing that kind of, oh wow, I've just had this fabulous day today, or oh, it's been a really shit day today, and I'm really struggling, I'm a bit miserable. I don't have, when you work for yourself, you don't necessarily have other people around you to share that.
Yeah, no, I get that. So my next question then is, what do you wish that you knew when you first set up in business?
Oh, that's tricky, isn't it? What do I wish I knew?
Or maybe what do you know now that you wish you'd known then, kind of thing?
I think what I wish I knew then, what I know now, is that boundaries and my worth. So when I first started in business, firstly, and I think this might resonate with quite a few people, I wanted to help everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you're a people, then I can help you. So I wanted to help everybody is the first thing. And also in my enthusiasm to demonstrate that I could do my stuff, I gave masses of my time away for nothing. So I was really, really, really busy giving absolutely hundreds of fabulously brilliant coaching sessions and people would go, "Oh wow, you're brilliant, thank you very much, you've changed our lives, see ya." And I'd be thinking, oh, that's great. And they'd tell people that I was great, and then somebody else had come for a free one, and I'd give them a free session. And so if I were to give myself any advice, the old me to the new me, it would be really boundaried and know your worth. And actually, that exchanging money is not a dirty thing. And actually, you do need to earn some money in business to stay alive and pay the bills.
Yes, it doesn't pay the bills, does it?
It makes you very popular, but it doesn't pay your mortgage.
Yeah. So going back to your previous answer then about the isolation and everything, is that one of the things that inspired you to join the FAB Business Club, would you say?
150%. I know you can't have 150%, but yes, 100%, and then some. Absolutely. And I've been around different networks. I've joined different networks. I think, like coaching, the fit of a network is really important. And again, like friendships, some friends are for a season, some friends are for life. And it's the same with networking, isn't it? I think so. I had experimented with different networks, and the thing that really resonated with me was that whole women supporting women, because let's face it, I went to an all girls boarding school. I worked in nursing. It's predominantly, in those days, predominantly female. And actually women aren't always very nice to each other. They, when you get a group of women together, they can be quite cliquey, they can be quite bitchy. It isn't always a very pleasant experience. So when an all-female network was first mentioned, I had a kind of, is that where I want to go? Being brutally honest, but actually, the whole vibe and the whole energy about this is actually, we're breaking the mold. This is like nothing you've ever had before, you've ever experienced. And the whole premise is about, you can give honest feedback, as I know. You can give honest feedback in a spirit of kind of, love and support. And that actually there is nothing more fabulous than women who genuinely, with a J, of course, genuinely support and want the best for each other. It's so powerful. And that's been my experience. And that's been my experience of it. And I, I don't say it lightly.
Thank you. Well, that does mean a lot to me. So my last question was going to be, well, what's your favourite thing about the about the FAB Business Club?
I can still answer that. No, I can still answer that.
Can you still answer that separately? Yeah. Go on then.
So my favourite thing about the FAB network, or one of my favourites, because there are lots, but one of my really, really key favourite things for me is, although there's a structure and there's a way of being, all the other nonsense, bells ringing, people clock watching, all of that kind of stuff. Or you can only speak in a certain order, you have to speak in a certain way, you have to wear pearls. Put them on specially today, I hope you noticed. But they're a bit squiffy and a bit different size. So I think the freedom to be completely who you are in that moment at any meeting, whether that's celebratory or sad, the FAB network has their arms around you.
That's so lovely to hear, and it has made my arms go all. I've got little.
I could almost take the cardigan off.
Warm and fuzzy. So thank you so much for all of that, Jenny. Before we wrap up then, just how, if people have listened to what you've had to say and think, oh, I quite like the idea of Jenny coming to, you know, getting Jenny for a group of us or whatever, how can people get hold of you? What's the best way for them to sort of see what you do and how you do it?
They can get hold, obviously they can connect with me on LinkedIn, and all my contact details are in there. They can my new website is under construction as we speak. It will be live very soon, and that is www.genuineconsulting.com. Or they can give me a ring, because my details are all in there. I have filled in my FAB membership details, so all my details are on the FAB directory.
And then if this goes public and people are seeing it, then it's genuineconsulting.com. Genuine with a J.
Genuine with a J, yes.
As a bit like your thing behind you.
Genuine with a J.
Your gorgeous branding behind you.
Isn't it fabulous? Don't you just love it?
I do.
I love
it. Lovely. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. And
thanks,
see you
Lisa.
soon.